it just like heaven when you walk into the room? There's not a thing that's hidden when every eye is on you. Can't get enough of your presence. It's the perfect point of view. Isn't it just like heaven? Come a little closer, stay a little longer. I can't get enough of you. Come a little closer, stay a little longer. I can't get enough of you. Doesn't it sound like heaven when you're singing over me? There's not a voice more constant. Your melodies, they never cease. Here I will stand in your presence, in my true identity. Doesn't it sound like, yeah, it sounds like, just like heaven. Come a little closer, stay a little longer. I can't get enough of you. Come a little closer, stay a little longer. I can't get enough of you. Enough of you. Holy, you are holy. You're such a perfect Father. I worship you forever. Holy, you are holy. I lay down any treasure for us to be together. Holy, you are holy. You're such a perfect Father. I worship you forever. Holy, you are holy. Come on. I lay down any treasure for us to be together. Come a little closer, stay a little longer. Standing here in your presence, in a grace so relentless, I am won by perfect love.
hide within the arms of heaven, in a peace that lasts forever, sinking deep in mercy, and I'm wide awake, drawing closer by grace, and oh, my heart is yours, and all fear removed, I breathe you in and lean into your love. Sing this out. When I'm lost, when I'm lost, you pursue me. Lift my head to see your glory, Lord. Oh, so beautiful. Here in you, I find shelter, captivated by the splendor of your face. My secret place, I'm wide awake, drawing close to by grace, and oh, my heart is yours, no fear removed, I breathe you in and lean into your love. Oh, your love. Come surround me, Lord. I wanna feel it. 'Cause your love so deep is washing over me. Your face is all I see. You are my everything. Jesus Christ, you are my one desire. Lord, you're my only cry, to know you all my life. I'm wide awake, drawing close to by grace, and all my heart is yours. All fear removed, I breathe you in and lean into your love. Oh, your love. Oh, I lean into your love. Come surround me, God.
salvation beckons a calmness that is found in you alone. It washes over every doubt, every imperfection. Jesus, your presence is the comfort of
the Spirit of the Lord is here. The evidence is all around that the Spirit of the Lord is here. Overflow in this place. Fill our hearts with your love. Your love surrounds us. You're the reason we came to encounter your love. Your love surrounds us. The atmosphere is changing now, for the Spirit of the Lord is here. The evidence is all around. The Spirit of the Lord is here. The atmosphere is changed now. Here in this place, the Spirit of the Lord is here. The evidence is all around that the Spirit of the Lord is here. Overflow in this place. Fill our hearts with your love. Your love surrounds us. You're the reason we came to encounter your love. Your love surrounds us. Overflow in this place. Fill our hearts with your love. Your love surrounds us. You're the reason we came to encounter your love. Your love surrounds us.
Surrounded by your love, Jesus. Spirit of God, fall fresh on us. We need your presence. Your kingdom come, your will be done here as in heaven. Yeah. Spirit of God, fall fresh on us. We need your us. Enjoy the service.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. But so good to see you today. And if you're watching us online, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate our broader online community. And I know most of us in this room at some time have turned on the internet and seen what's going on. I will remind you we're posting some new stuff on YouTube that you might find interesting. Some of the theology that I just tried to have an interview with Ricardo, that's posted on there. So look at Suncoast Community Church on YouTube. You see some things you might be interested in. But I'm so glad to be here today. We're in the series called the Practical Prescriptions 2.0. And these prescriptions really are to try to give you a takeaway every week, something you can do. So if you've been around, you know these have been around for now, this is the 9th week. But my wife has them posted on the kitchen, on all the cabinets. She's got 4 on this side and 4 on that side. And before we're done, she'll have probably another 3 or 4. But the first prescription was this. You know, walk with your shoulders back, your head held high and smile. That's number 1. Number 2 was about self-care, saying, I'm worth taking care of today. Number 3, it's about friends. I will tell a friend I'm grateful. Number 4, it's about comparisons. I will not compare myself to others. Number 5, it's about stress. When stressed, maybe I need to take a break. Number 6, I will value others by listening. Number 7, I will blame less, forgive more. And last week, when we talked about the long way around, it takes time to grow a tree and me. Sometimes it doesn't happen so quickly. Today, the prescription is, I'll tell you up front, and then we'll look at it at the end, tell the truth or at least don't lie. And I'm going to explain that as we go through. We began in Genesis 1. I'm going to preach all the way through the whole Bible today, chapter by chapter. Okay, maybe not. So that's going to lead into what I'm going to talk about. We began with creation. It was good. We look at the Spirit of God, how it brooded over the face of the deep, and chaos was overcome by order. In chapter 2, we see Adam and Eve in the garden story. We see the importance of this story as the beginning of consciousness. Adam and Eve were awakened to the concepts of life and death, and you see the blame game going on there. The scene, the garden scene in the Garden of Eden is about innocence, yet life advances, and we realize the garden represents not only the beginning of humanity, but also innocence and the beginning of our lives. In chapter 4, there's a story of Cain and Abel. Both presented their sacrifices to God, and Cain was disappointed because his sacrifice was not as accepted as his brother's. So he was downcast, frustrated, he was angry at the resentment. So he killed his brother because he was mad. So let's talk about the first personal lies we know in the Bible. God asked Cain, where is Abel? And Cain lies. He says, I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? See, God challenged Cain, keep looking up. Don't let your disappointments in life turn to anger and devastation. Today, we're going to look at a different story. It's the Noah story. It's the flood story. It's about humanity and the consequences of the choices we make. Let's jump in looking at Genesis chapter 6. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. Now, folks, I got to tell you, it's disturbing. When all the hearts and the thoughts were only evil all the time, the Lord regretted He'd made human beings on the earth, and His heart was deeply troubled. So the Lord said, I'll wipe from the face of the earth the human race I've created, and with them the animals, the birds, and the creatures that move along the ground, for I regret that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. So I don't know about you, but that's a troubling story to me. It's right from Genesis. And the story is very simple. It's if you want to read this literally, it's going to create lots of problems. But if you want to find the deeper meaning in this story, I think it can be a game changer for us. If you want to look at it at its elementary or like as a kid in Santa Claus level, what it really says is God is angry with the people of the world. What it really says, tell Noah to build an ark. And Noah gathers 2 of each species in the ark, and the rains come for 40 days, and everyone in the world is killed except Noah, his family, and these animals. For 6 months, Noah's on the ark with all these animals. And if you read this story literally, and I'm going to suggest the first 11 chapters of Genesis are not supposed to be read literally. You've got to find the story in there because it's a story that gives life. These stories are thousands of years old, but they're a story with a truth, and sometimes we get sort of caught up in the details that we miss the greater meaning. So if you read the story literally, you probably want to build an ark like someone did in Kentucky. Am I a fan? No, I'm not a fan. Why? Because I think it's the opposite side of what I think is important. Here's the ark, this is the size, and science has said you couldn't put 2 animals of each species in the boat that size. If you could, all the problems that come about, how much food, what about all the poop? How do you deal with all these problems on the ark? But you can play this game, but literal people want a literal ark no matter how unrealistic or damaging the view is. The sad part is we miss the truth of the story. We can also miss how the story applies to our lives. So let me put the story at a literal level, simple literal level. God admits he screwed up, he made a mistake. I regret I ever made human beings. So I'm so angry, I'm going to commit mass genocide and kill everybody in the world except Noah and his family. And I'm going to kill all the animals too. So if you're an animal lover, they're all dead. It's a God who does not like creation. Now, here's the problem. This story is inconsistent with the teachings of Jesus. And honestly, if you stay there, you miss the point of the story. So, what's the point? I'm glad you asked. So have I teased you enough with it? Good. I want to. Creation of Adam and Eve, temptation, failure, expulsion from the garden, and now this mass genocide. The world gets to start over. Today I want to share with you the point of the story, and it's in your notes. Here's truth number 1. When society loses its moral foundation, the chaos can be devastating. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of man had come on the earth, and that every inclination of his thoughts, of his heart, was only evil all the time, and he was grieved. What really happened? This story is to help us understand that when humanity loses its moral foundation, we're in trouble. The entire society began to follow the pattern of Cain, who killed his brother and lied about it. The view of society was looking down. It's dismal. Every heart evil, looking away from God. The Bible is full of all kinds of people who did not tell the truth. Let me say that a little more rough. The Bible is full of liars. Fair enough, and deception. Well, what do you mean? I'll give you a few. Abraham, when he was traveling with his wife Sarah, she was such a good-looking woman. They went to Egypt, and he said, "Tell the Pharaoh you're my sister, or he'll kill me and take you as his wife." So Pharaoh took Sarah into his harem, and bad things began to happen. I mean, all his animals began to have problems, and finally his wise guys came to him and said, "We found out what's going on. She's married to Abraham." And he went to Abraham, and I picture him grabbing by "What did you do to me? I almost committed this atrocious thing. She's your wife. Why did you say she's my sister?" "Well, I was afraid you'd kill me." "Well, I want to kill you now." I mean, but truthfully, he said, "Well, she really was my half-sister." I said, "Well, she must be from, you pick the state." I don't want to incriminate my own state. I'll incriminate yours. But that's just not right. They say, "Well, where else are the liars in the Bible?" Well, you go, Abraham, he was married to Isaac, who was married to Rachel, and they had a son, Jacob. Jacob and Esau, the twin boys. Jacob was called the deceiver. That's what heel grabber, in Hebrew, Jacob means heel grabber or deceiver. So did Jacob tell a lie? You bet he did. He not only told one, but he concocted with his mother to trick his father to giving him the blessing. So what did he do? So one day, it was time for Isaac, said, I need to give my son the blessing. And Esau, who was very hairy, and he lived outside a lot, and when he went out to prepare game, Rachel came and said, Jacob, this is your chance to get the blessing. If you want to get the blessing from your twin brother, this is the time. Well, how am I supposed to do this? Look, I've already made this food just like he would make it. And, but you know, your hair in your arms is very little, and Esau is like hairy woolly. So he took and killed a sheep and put the sheepskin on his arm, strap it on, and he goes into his father who's blind. And Isaac said, I'm here to bless you, my son. Oh, this smells just like a meal that you prepared. And he said, but you, and what he really was saying is, you don't smell like my son Jacob, who's an outdoors guy. Do you know what he's really saying? Outdoors people don't bathe a lot. I have a stinky son and I have the other son. So you don't smell like Esau, who smells like he's been outside a lot. But you sound like Jacob. Come here. And he got close to him and he held his hands up. He said, well, I'm Esau. And he feels the wool of a sheep on his arms. Would you like to be described that way? Come here, let me feel your arms. Oh, you feel like a sheep. But here's the story. He got the blessing. And Esau, when he found out that Jacob had deceived his father, he'd lied to him, he'd taken the birthright. When he came home, Esau was going to kill him, so Jacob ran for his life. Now he went to Laban, which is a relative up in another country, and he worked 7 years for Leah and Rebecca. Yeah, Rebecca. It's either Rachel or Rebecca, I can't remember. But he worked 7 years for this girl. And Laban slips Leah in, the older sister. He said, hey, wait a minute, I worked 7 years for this world and you gave me her sister? And the scripture says she had weak eyes. Now, we don't know whether she really couldn't see very well or she hurt you when you looked at her. Weak on the eyes is kind of what it means. We don't know. But what we do know is that he ended up getting both girls to be his wife. So Laban had deceived his son-in-law. And then Jacob goes back toward his homeland. He runs into Esau, and Esau's outraged to see his brother. He doesn't know, so he says, look, Esau, you going back home, I'll meet you there. And he goes a different way. Often deception. I'm not done. Let's go to the New Testament. There's a story in Acts chapter 10 about Ananias and Sapphira. They brought some gift to the church, and they misrepresented what it was. They said, that's not the right amount. Yes, is that true? Is that true? Yes. They said it was true. And they said, well, and they died because they lied. Pretty rough. Then you got Simon Peter at Jesus' arrest. Are you one of the Galileans? No, I'm not. Did you know him? No. Are you sure? And it says here, in Exodus, man, I told you I'm not him. Really, if you read the original language, it's really kind of like he's cursing. He said, look, I've had it. Don't be confusing me. But here's the point. You go through all these biblical heroes, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. You see Simon Peter, and you see this other couple, Ananias and Sapphira. But if leaders, heroes of the Bible have a tendency to lie, maybe it's because we all do. So let me ask you a question. Is there anyone here who has never lied? Raise your hand. Yeah, there's a liar right there. You can always tell him. So he's on staff. No, I'm just kidding. But what causes people to lie? Fear? Oh, they surprised me and I said what I shouldn't say. Or I was caught. There was blue lights in my rearview mirror and he came up and said, why are you going so fast? My grandmother. Well, that was my story. It didn't work. So why do we do that? To cover our poor choice. History teaches us that when societies lose their moral foundation, disaster is at hand. Greece was a superpower from 323 to 146. Morality slipped, they lost it. From 146 to 476 AD, Rome was a superpower. And Rome lost their moral fiber, their edge, they lost control. Japan did horrible things in World War II with the rape of Nanking. And if you want to talk about Nazi Germany, how it did horrible things in World War II with the genocide of the Jews. Sociologists claim that societies generally decline with the loss of moral values. Peter Berger in the book, The Sacred Canopy, suggests that religion, though, has a major place in society. Society, humanity, needs religion to keep moral values alive and to keep hope alive. I asked some longtime friends one day about church. Why do we go to church? We were interested just to have a brainstorming session. Why is church attendance dropping in the United States? You know, it's the lowest time ever in the record keeping. Less than 50% of the people are going to church in the U.S. What should be the function of the church? What is the greatest good the church could do for humanity? And we landed on a few things. So one of the things the church should do, and teaching should provide moral instruction. We think that's important. But we also should inspire people. I grew up in church that wasn't so much inspirational as it was creating more fear. Anybody been there? I mean, to where all of a sudden you just feel like it's judgment. I'm going to scare you. You know, you're going to burn in hell if you don't do what I say. But when you inspire people to be better versions of themselves, when we inspire people to be honest, tell the truth, be trustworthy, when we inspire hope and meaning for those who've lost hope and meaning, we provide a place of community. We are so displaced in our society from our hometowns and maybe our family group that we need a community to care for us. One day, a friend of mine who was a millennial, he and a retired pastor was with me and I was there. And the pastor said, the millennial said, first I set it up, he said, why should I go to church? It's a good question. That's a millennial point of view. The senior pastor, retired pastor said, well, you go to worship. The young guy said, I can worship God anywhere. And then the pastor said, well, you need to go to church. You need to go to church. And the millennial said, there's nothing there I need. So I interrupted and I said, well, let me see if I can find some common ground here. What could the church provide that we might need? What could we provide you as a millennial that you might need? And here's some of the responses that we talked about from the millennial, the retired pastor, me. The church community should be a place where like-minded people gather and be inspired to work together to change the world. I want to be a part of something like that, don't you? Be a part of the solution, not the problem. A community where we could share our resources and help the oppressed in our society. And we do that in a couple of ways. You mean like changing the oil in somebody's car? How about giving away a car? Folks, we gave away 30 cars last year. We're on track to do that again this year. We've given away over 100 cars in the last 5 years because we want to meet people where they are and help them. I was a pastor of a church 20 years ago, and someone asked me this question, and it's never gotten away from me because it's such a good question. Would the community miss you if you closed your doors tomorrow? How would they miss you? And I thought they wouldn't. Today, would they miss us if we closed Suncoast? Yeah. The people said, hey, where do I get my oil changed? Why? Where do I go to get, coffee at the coffee bar on Sunday morning? It's open again. Do you see that? I mean, it's good things. Where can I go and find a community that's not going to judge me and beat me up? Where can I go and be inspired? See, I think those are important things. A place where I'm not judged, but I'm challenged to be the best version I can be. A place where honesty and truth are the highest goal. See, I think at Suncoast, we are a hospital, not a courtroom, but we want to help you become the best version of you we can, which leads to the second thought. It's in your notes. My highest possible life requires honesty. What does it mean to walk with God? Adam was walking with God in the cool of the evening, and God came out and said, Adam, where are you? And he said, oh, I'm hiding over here. Wasn't very smart. What are you doing hiding over here? Well, I'm naked. Well, what happened? How'd you get naked? Well, we ate from the one tree in the garden they told us not to eat from. And that ended his walk with God in that way, in the garden. But Noah walked with God faithfully. So here's my question to us. How do we walk with God? First of all, I want you to know it's a choice. Nobody's going to make you walk with God. It's your choice. I begin by trying to aim my life toward its highest good. See, I want to be the best person of me that I can be. How do I do that? Let me start. I begin by telling the truth, regardless. Tell the truth. Now, I played this game with others. Here's the response. But what if you tell the truth all the time? What if somebody comes to your house, they've got a gun, and they say, I'm looking for your significant other, and I'm going to kill them. Where are they? If that ever happens, you can say they're not here. I give you permission to lie, unless it's just been a bad day. Hey, they're over there. In ethics, they're called ethical norms, principles. And one of the principal norms is the preservation of life is greater than the preservation of truth. Now, that's debatable. Some people say absolutely not. Tell the truth no matter what, and if they die, they die. But telling the truth with those crazy examples or exceptions, we really need to leave those off. Tell the truth, model truth telling. And here's the point. If you cannot tell the truth, then at least don't lie. What do I mean by that? Well, there's an old story about a newborn baby. You know, newborns, when they're first born, they're wrinkly. Some of them have cone heads. They're not very good looking. And some people come up and you're looking at this newborn, the thing is like, you're looking through the window, it's like 2 hours old. And you hear them say, "Isn't she beautiful?" You don't have to tell the truth, but you just should not lie. So what do you say? "Wow, what a baby." And now that's a baby. Or if you really want to feel a little ornery, you say, "Oh, it looks just like its father." I mean, but in a couple of days, they become the Gerber babies. They become these beautiful kids. But when they're first born, they've just gone through a trauma. They're not at their best. Being truthful does not mean being rude or harmful. "Honey, these pants make my butt look big." I used to teach marriage enrichment classes. This is some of that from the class. Do not say, gentlemen, do not say yes. So what should I say? Do not say this. It's not the slacks that make your butt look big. Do not say that either. So what should I say? First, keep your mouth shut. Secondly, at least don't lie. What could I say? Say something positive. "Those pants look great. I love the color. You look nice. I love the way you look." All those are true statements. You don't have to lie. You can tell the truth. Or this, the phone rings. "Is your mother home?" "Tell them I'm not here." "I can hear you. I'm on the phone. I'm not going to," or don't expect your kids to lie for you. Or in the office, the phone rings. "Is the pastor in?" I could be standing right there and they will not say, "No, he's not in." We talked about this. "Is the pastor in?" "I'm sorry, he is not available." "Can I take a message?" Here's the most important thing. "Can I help you?" Forget the message thing. Because usually when people call the church for the pastor, you know what they're calling? They want to sell me a box of paper towels. They want to sell something. It's usually salespeople. And there are people who handle that. I have a nice staff and they're very proficient. "I'm sorry, he's not available. Can I help you?" You can depend on someone when they're trustworthy. Be honest. Don't lie. Don't cheat. Don't steal. Deceit filled the heart of the community in Noah's day. Every inclination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil all the time. This is a story about Noah who was walking with God, but society was not. They're walking away from moral principles. They're walking away from being a supportive community. They're walking away from truth, from honesty, and honor. The call to live a higher life is a way that you and I really can restructure society. I think we can make a difference. If we aim up toward our highest good, society thrives. If we aim down toward evil, society denigrates. See, I think the call of Christ for us is to be much more than we are. If we want to make things better, stop looking down and doing those things. I can't say this word with my grandkids around. Quit doing those stupid things. Start aiming higher and do the better things. See, the story of the flood teaches us if the structure is corrupt, social destruction is coming. If people aim down enough all the time, destruction. But if we can learn to aim higher than the storm and chaos of life, we can learn to find stability. Jesus taught us to look up, aim higher, be kind, be generous, be involved in others' lives, be honest and trustworthy. I was a boy. I was one of 9 kids, as most of you know, number 6 in line. My mother asked me one day about something. And I don't remember what I said to her, but she asked me a question. And she looked at me and she said in the deep South way, "Are you telling me a story?" In the South, that means, are you lying? Are you telling me a story or are you telling me the truth? And my mother said this, when I look in your eyes, I can tell if you're telling me the truth or not. Wow. I learned to shut my eyes around my mom a lot. It's just sort of like this. But I mean, don't look in mom's eyes. I learned how to avoid answering the question. My mother would ask me a question, I'd answer something else. But you know what that leads to? It's guilt. Now, let me go back from that boyhood to when I was about 18. I started dating this wonderful girl. Her name is Becky. We started dating at 18, married at 19. We've been married over 45 years. I thought she was the most honest person I'd ever met. Then I married her. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. My wife would not lie. She would not even exaggerate. I mean, I was so impressed by that, I thought, I can trust her because she'll always be honest with me. And I don't know that I was as honest as she was at that time. We celebrated my late father-in-law's birthday, Frank Kraft. If Frank were alive, he'd be 103 this past Monday. He's been gone for 20 years. We've had a birthday party for 20 years for a guy that's been gone. Why would you do that? Because he was a man who was trustworthy. He was a man of honor, a man of honesty, a man of family. He was also a man of truth. I saw where Becky got her resolve to be a truth teller. He was not only her dad, but he was a father to me as well. And I remember a day, we hadn't been married very long. I said, and I made a vow to God, I will become a truth teller. I will not lie. I will always be as honest as I can. That was a game changer for me. Now, when people pulled me over with the blue lights, and I got pulled over about 10 years ago, coming up from Venice on 681. The guy said, you're going 61 in a 55 or 50, whatever it is. I said, okay, sorry. He said, why were you going so fast? I said, I wasn't paying attention. He said, that's not good enough. I said, that's the truth. Write me a ticket or not, that's the truth. Wrote me a ticket. But here's the thing, it doesn't matter. I live my life, I know what the truth is because I always try to tell the truth. The secret of a life full of truth is honesty and it's love. You know where I found the secret? It's walking with God. Walking with God means morality, honesty, faithfulness. When I decide to walk with God, I'm saying I want to live my life as a reflection of something greater in me. Walking with God leads to a life of order. Walking with God is not living out of control. It's not a selfish pursuit. It's learning how to be in community. When we walk with God, we become trustworthy, faithful. Does that mean you'll never have a storm? Absolutely not. In 1985, I lost a brother to suicide. In 1987, I lost a nephew to suicide. 1993, my dad died instantly of a heart attack. 2001, my father-in-law, my mentor, passed away from Alzheimer's. 2016, my next oldest brother died from leukemia and cancer. 2018, Becky's mom died from dementia-related things. In 2020, we were shut down as a community for months. Life contains storms. What matters in life is how we cope in the storm. I want to live my life trusting God. The old prophet Habakkuk, after all the calamity in his life, he said, what really matters is the righteous will live by faithfulness. Get up every day, practice honesty, do what you should do. It's not just your faith, it's not your belief system, it's not my statement of beliefs. Faithfulness, walking with God, is a lifestyle, trusting Him every day, which leads to the last truth today, and it's this. As we follow the teachings of Jesus, we discover meaning in life. Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, said, modern people don't see God because they don't look low enough. God is not up there somewhere. He's all around us. I mean, He's here. What if you and I begin to change? What if we decided we're going to aim higher in our embrace of life? What if we decided this week we would all tell the truth? Or maybe say, I don't know if I can 100%, but I'm going to do 1% better or 10% better. Can you imagine how much your life would be better if every week you told the truth? What if the aim of following Jesus helped me change my language? What if the aim of living higher challenged me to drive with less intensity? What if my aim helped me to arrive at my appointments on time, etc.? What if I begin to value everyone else as God's kids? In essence, Jesus is saying, aim higher, be trustworthy, speak honestly, don't lie. Let me pray for you. Father, in moments like this, you challenge us at our core. If some of the Bible heroes could lie, so could we. Forgive us. Teach us to be followers of Jesus, honest to a fault. May our hearts be tuned to you, we pray, on this day in Christ's name. Amen. Would you stand, please? I'm going to tell you a story. But before I do it, I want to bring out this prescription. You have it with you? Take it with you. If you need one, again, at Grand Central, you can get all of them. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Every day, I'm going to tell the truth, or at least I'm going to say, wow, what a baby. Fair enough? So let me tell you the closing story. Years ago, I had a friend of mine who was cleaning up his MacBook computer. And it was newly upgraded and running so slow. He said, I reset it. When I reset it, everything works great. A few years ago, 25 of us on the Sea of Galilee in the rainstorm. Some of you are here, remember that. And after we finished our meal, we looked out the windows. We saw both ends of a full rainbow on the Sea of Galilee. And I began to think about Noah. What if every time you and I see a rainbow, we push a reset button? What does a reset do? I'm going to love deeper. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to become trustworthy. I'm going to set my aim a little higher. This week, I'm going to challenge you. Tell the truth. Walk with God. He loves you today. So do I. God bless. Thanks for coming.